This is Build It Baby, the show for big ideas, brave pivots, and bold next chapters. So let's do it. Let's build it, baby. Hey there, Penelope Bent here. Welcome back to Build It Baby. Here we are already in season 2. How amazing is that? When the idea of Build It Baby first came out, I knew my focus was on helping you build both businesses, careers, and lives. And at first, I imagined it would be all about the tools and the strategies, the how-tos of business. But very quickly and early on, I realized that this podcast is also about something much deeper. It's a soul-driven adventure, a deeper and very personal adventure. Anytime you're building something, you're building your business, it's personal. They say it's just business, but it's personal. So this season, you'll not only hear from some incredible guests who will share their business and personal experiences and knowledge, but I'll go beyond the tactics, into the inner wiring, your mindset, the beliefs that drive how we show up in the world. Because building can't just be about making money. There is more to it. It's about knowing yourself, aligning with your gifts, and creating from a place of flow instead of force. It's about you being you and creating greatness. So let's do this. Let's build it, baby. Okay, so here's my question for you. How do you operate? So I think when you are beginning a build and perhaps growing your team, one of the most important interviews you can have is with yourself. So here's what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to ask yourself this question. What is my operating system? And I don't mean your phone or your computer, I mean you. Because the truth is, every single one of us has an internal operating system. It's the way we process information, the way we create ideas, our response to challenges, and how we build our lives. And here's the kicker. If you're not aware of how yours works, how your operating system works, you might be running outdated software or someone else's software without even knowing it. So knowing how you operate will give you some of the most important elements and information to help you with your build. Think of it this way. Think of yourself as the chief operating officer of your business, your career, and your life. You're the chief operating officer. You're a COO. What does a COO do? They understand how things work behind the scenes, how information flows, how the systems are designed, how decisions are made. Basically, the COO effectively designs almost the whole ecosystem, perhaps maybe with some others included, but they're designing the system in which you will work daily or live daily, whether it's in your business, your career, or your life. And I know from my personal experience, I cannot tell you how this little exercise, this little self-discovery exercise I'd like to share, will save you not only money, but wasted hours of ineffective results and loads of possible frustration and disappointment. I got 5 questions for you. It's kind of 5 questions for a little personal inventory. And if you can answer them as honestly as possible, you will be actually creating a personal blueprint for your build. And once you have that personal build blueprint and you know how you operate, what makes you excited, how you process information, how you share ideas, you will be one step closer to building your life your way. But the first step is getting to understand and be clear about how you operate. So, let's take it from the top. The first thought is, what type of environment do you thrive in? What does the space, your workspace, look like? What do you want it to look like? Do you prefer working directly with your computer one-on-one, maybe in an isolated office with your headphones on? Or do you like interacting with colleagues, casual setting, hanging out around the couch, having some coffee, some music blasting, the sound of the buzz? Does that energize you? Do you like things nice and neat? I'm so into that. I have to have everything nice and neat before I can even think. If it's real cluttered, my mind just doesn't work. I can't think. Or perhaps you like a bit of chaos. You get your creative juices flowing, papers here and there, some half figured out projects over there. Maybe that's what stimulates you. Knowing what type of environment allows you to build the space that fits you, that gives you a real opportunity to thrive and be happy. So knowing what that looks like, you've already got your plan loosely created, but now start putting in the details and match them to how you operate. Build that space that works best for you to thrive. Next, how do you handle interruptions? Anytime you're building and you're putting a team together, there's a question coming from this angle, another one there. Somebody, walks in the middle of a presentation. I mean, it can be pretty crazy. So do those quick drop-ins feel like a chance to connect? Or is it more like a distraction that pulls you away from your work? Is that an interruption that doesn't feel good to you? Just answering that one simple question will help you design a physical working environment that matches your rhythm. Maybe it's a small, I remember having a small kind of in a glass office in the middle of my studio. I mean, there were people, where the dressing rooms or makeup artists or whatever, but I had my little quiet space that was always neat and organized that I could kind of run back, regroup, get my thoughts about me, and then go out and do the physical activity, that I needed to with the clients and so on. So developing and tightening up your relationship with your team, how you operate with your team, is really important. And then building is all about ideas. So what helps you develop out your idea? Okay, you've got a loose plan. You've been chewing on it for a while. Do you prefer to do your own research, or do you like collaborating with others? I like a lot of team collaboration. I was great at sitting on the floor, pitching an idea to the gals that I worked with and saying, what do you think about this? And then somebody else would pop out, well, yeah, that sounds great. What about we could add this in? I like to hear ideas from others. Many times their ideas will be of great influence. I'll spin off of their idea. I'll take a bit of their ingredient and add it to my build. So I like that whole creative process of ideas flying all over and then coming to a conclusion and running it by my friends and coworkers. Knowing how your ideas grow gives you the data you need to establish not only the size of your team, but it also gives you an inside glimpse as to how you can define your idea. Those folks, can they help you define it, or do you need to walk through that entire process by yourself? And then Another strong piece is how do you receive and process information? So when you're putting your build together and you're working on projects, are you visual? Do you like images and charts and diagrams and storyboards and other graphical representations that will aid in the learning process? Is that how you receive the information? Or do you prefer to work with others, or do they overstimulate you, shutting off your ability to understand a concept or to learn a piece? Basically, what works the best for you? What are your learning requirements? In today's marketplace, it is impossible to grow if you're not learning new technologies or keeping up with the new ways of communicating. So, understanding how you learn, and even when you're interviewing for jobs, understanding how you learn their process. Does the way they onboard, will that ask those questions. What's your training program? What is your onboarding process like? Will the way they do that work, will that fit for you? Will that help you to learn about their products and services? Or will that slow you down and just be overwhelming? And then finally, this is one of the most important pieces and probably one of the hardest in building just about anything. How do you make decisions, and then how long does it take for you to make the decision? Making decisions is one of the most crucial aspects of your build. I cannot tell you how many business friends I have that have stumbled or fallen due to a lack of decision. They required some approval of others. Some other folks I know need to rely on others for the confidence to make their decision. They require that support. And then with all that in mind, how long is it going to take you to make the decision? What is it that you need? Timing sometimes is the deal breaker. So it is so important for you to take a deep dive into what you need. What do you personally need that will aid you in making clear, confident decisions that you can move forward and build your business and your relationship and your career growth and your life growth, for all that matter? What is it going to take to help you make those decisions? And be honest with yourself, because there's no right or wrong answer to all these. It's just an investigation. It's a deep dive into self-discovery. Just remember, your operating system runs the show, babe, whether you realize it or not. The way you process, the environments you choose, the quirks and the habits you lean on, none of that is random. The key is to observe yourself without judgment. Your operating system isn't good or bad. It just is. Mine is completely different than almost anyone I know. So I'm not judging myself because that's just not how I operate, and maybe the majority does operate that way. Think of it as your personal blueprint. The more you know about yourself and how you operate, the more you can optimize it. When you understand your blueprint, you stop fighting yourself. You move more with ease. You create from a place of flow and let go of trying to download someone else's software that was never meant for you, doing it someone else's way. In order to build your way, you have to discover how you operate. How is your way? What is your way? And once you know that, you'll be off to the races. So here's the part where I tell you exactly what I know. These are my knowings, the things I no longer question because they've shown themselves to me again and again. Not from a book, but from building, getting knocked down, getting back up, and doing this work in the real world. Okay, here are my knowings. I know that more I know my strengths and weaknesses, the fewer mistakes and missteps I make. The deeper the dive, the more I understand what data I need to collect, because maybe that's a weaker area for me. Whatever it takes, I just know very clearly what my strengths and what my weaknesses are. And then I fill in with brilliant people in the areas that I am just wobbling on. Number 2, I know that no one is better at building my business, my career, or my life than I am. It might not be perfect all the time, but it is damn good most of the time. I know how to build my business my way. I know, number 3, that if I consistently stay focused on my idea, whatever that idea is that I'm creating, wanting to put into the marketplace, whatever the goal, and if I can do it within my operating system, the prize, this invisible element, will become visible. Most everything we create, every idea comes from the invisible. If I don't see immediate results, I just remind myself, all is good and it is on its way. And you can be damn sure it'll be on its way my way. So those are my knowings. Okay, now it's time for one of my favorite parts of the show, listener question. This season, we have made it even easier for you to send me your listener question. Now you can text me your question anytime. Just use the new text link in the show notes. So I'm looking forward to what you're going to send. So go to the show notes and text me any question that you might have that I can help with, and I will feature it on the show, and I will do my best to get back to you and answer your question as well. So let's jump into today's question. This is from Chris in San Francisco. Beautiful city, by the way. Okay, here's Chris's question for me. What's one surprise you discovered from building your own business? Well, we could go on for another hour here, but I'll give you the highlights. For me, the biggest surprise was really, truly how much I love being in business for myself. I just love it. I can't wait to get up in the morning because I've got a new plan, a new idea. I'm onto something. I really didn't expect that. I didn't live in a family environment where anyone I knew had ever been in business for themselves. So I was really surprised, big time, at that piece. And then I discovered that I love to build. Sometimes too much. I should probably slow my build down from time to time because I can have 5 projects going on all at the same time. But I do love to build, I love to create, and I love go-to-market strategies. I like to figure out how to bring the product all the way to the marketplace and give folks something that will help them, make an easier life for them, or whatever the product is. But I like the go-to-market strategies a lot. And then probably the biggest, most personal surprise was realizing how good I was at running a business. I had never in my entire life thought of myself as especially smart or very capable. I was not an A student. I was so busy, carrying my pom-poms and I couldn't sit still. So I was not, the greatest student in the class. And I think many see the role of a woman as much more of a supportive player in the cast, certainly not the lead. So when I started my business and realized not only that I enjoyed it, but that I was capable and incredibly resourceful, and that I really could succeed, that was huge. That was probably the biggest surprise. And that was a turning point for me. It reframed how I saw myself and what I was capable of. And it certainly made me a huge advocate of women in business. So Great question, Chris. Thank you so much for being such an important element of this show. And I hope I answered that for you. But yes, those were some of my biggest surprises. If we had more time, I'd share all of my deep, dark secrets, but those are the main ones. Well, it's that time. Thanks for listening to Build It, Baby. And an extra special shout out to all of our faithful listeners. I truly hope you love receiving this show as much as I have loved creating it. As we wrap up today's episode, I'd like to remind you that this isn't just about business or career growth. This is about you building your life your way. Always best, P. Build It Baby is a Rainy Day Production House original, hosted by Penelope Bent and produced and edited by Morgan Clymer. Music by Yuri Shemshashin and Oleksiy Holobiev. If this episode spoke to you, please follow the show and leave a review. It helps more dreamers like you find us. And remember, you're not just building a bold business or a career, you're building a bold life.